I am Eric Anderson. I work in career development, and I'm working on career planning with you. Many of you have probably created a 4-year academic course plan. That's also important. And right here in front of us, we're looking at a 4-year career preparation plan, and that's what we're working on today. This is a worksheet that I'll make reference to in a few minutes. When I ask in your classes how many of you are planning to go to medical school, physician assistant school, occupational therapy, physical therapy, dental school, vet school, or graduate programs after graduation, almost everybody raises their hand for one of those professional or graduate school options. Very few people plan to have jobs right after graduation. And so I think it's helpful for both happy stories and maybe insight to see what other Capital graduates have done actually after graduation. And you can see that I have this divided up into 3 categories for what they do immediately after graduation. So this isn't people who've taken a gap year. This is people who are, what they're doing right after they graduate. And the good news is that for many of you at least, all these professional school programs that you're interested in, these graduate school programs, are programs that Capital students have successfully been admitted to during their senior year. So they've been able to enter those the fall after their senior year. There also might be some professional school programs that are maybe more surprising to you. You hadn't thought about maybe some of these, seminary, for example. And then perhaps more surprising is how many people, there's a huge chunk of graduates who end up working in jobs. Some of them are in these jobs short term, like for a couple of years, and others have made the transition to these jobs. So they are entering these jobs as the beginning of a career. And it may be that some of you right now are thinking that you're in biology or in environmental science so that you can get a job after graduation too. But it tends to be less common to be expecting that. So let's, though, assume that whatever your goal is, if it's professional school or graduate school, that is what you should focus on for your 4-year career plan. In order to get to that goal, you're going to need experience. You're going to need to engage both on campus and off campus in activities that are related to your interests. So let's use 2 documents, one that we were just looking at, and then another document with a timeline that can help you think about your plan for your career plan for the next 4 years. One of them is a timeline, and although there's other information on this handout, we're going to be focusing on the timeline part on the left-hand side. And then the other one is the worksheet that I mentioned earlier, that I referred to earlier, that can help you plan your next 4 years and organize your ideas for your discussion board posts for this course. So let's start with a timeline. And for the first year, my suggestion is that you learn about who you are and what you like by engaging in activities, and then also make a good first impression on faculty. So let's go back to this worksheet. So in the first year, you can see that I've already populated that with 3 items, and I'm suggesting that you might want to write more in there. Make a good first impression in classes. All of you are going to need faculty members to write letters of recommendation or to be references for you. And the impression that you make on them now will affect the kind of reference that you're able to get from them later on. So make a good first impression in classes. Be engaged in class. Ask questions. Look like you care. Get to know your advisor. That person is going to be important. So make sure that you spend time reaching out to them to meet with them virtually or in person so that they can find out more about your goals and you can ask for their advice. And then I suggest that you interview someone in the career that you're planning for. whether that is medical school or another professional program or graduate school or a job, it will be important for you to interview somebody in the career that you're planning for. And you can do that a couple of different ways, maybe through your own personal network, but you can also go to the career development webpage, click on majors and careers, and there are two pieces of information that are going to be helpful for you here. One of them is an informational interview guide. It's a brief guide to how to conduct these. And then the other one is a resource that you can use to access a mentor or just an alum who is willing to answer questions and help you think about your goals. So you can sign up for an account, and then somebody from Capital will just have to approve that. And then realize that the alumni who are in this network specifically because they want to assist new professionals and current students. And so they are anxious to help you. And you should find out if there are people who are from your major and who have positions that are related to your interest areas in there. So that is what you can do during your first year. There are probably more things that you can do as well. Let's go back to the timeline. In the sophomore year, I suggest that you explore potential careers in your major, so look at the broad range of options for you, and then get at least a little bit of experience. Get at least a little bit of experience. There are two items in here. One of them says question my major, and I haven't talked about that yet, but I think it's important for you to question your major in your sophomore year because it is easy to change your major in the sophomore year and still finish on time in 4 years. And it is more difficult to change your major in your junior year and still finish on time in 4 years. So this is the year to be questioning your major. And then you could see I have this directly experience your intended career area a little bit. There's some ideas up here. I'm not going to go through all of these due to time, but let's say that you're interested in medical school. You are qualified to apply for a position as a patient care assistant or a patient support assistant. And in those positions in hospitals, you would be exposed to physicians, nurses, how they interact with each other, physical therapists, all kinds of medical professionals, and you would get a better sense of whether or not you are like those people or not like those people in a very realistic environment. Shadowing is also important. That's nothing wrong with that. But I urge you to think about getting practical experience in your field. Let's go back to that timeline. In the junior year, you're going to want to begin preparing for graduate or professional school if those are your options that you're considering. And if you're interested in a job, make sure that you're engaging in internship experiences. We can help you with that. And if you're interested in the graduate and professional schools, make sure that you're choosing the field and the schools and prepare for the tests that you have to take. That's a big thing to do during the junior year. And then during the senior year, again, if you're interested in graduate school, take those tests if you haven't already. Complete the applications, write your personal statements, get your reference letters, start your interviews. You're going to be doing all of that. If you're looking for a job, you would just need to begin the job search and maybe get additional internship experience. So you should use this worksheet to fill out your plan, in part because you're more likely to do these things if you actually write them down, and in part because it will help you be more successful as you are moving through your 4 years and evaluating your interests and seeing if things stay the same or if you're inspired to look at new areas. If you have questions about any of this as you are working on it, feel free to contact me, Eric Anderson in Career Development, and good luck with this first year.